Time now for our Newsmaker segment. Good news for the Red Cross tonight. During a pretty critical time, the local chapter received a very generous grant from the H.N. and Francis C. Berger Foundation. Joining us live now from the newsroom is Kenneth Gregory. He's a board member with the American Red Cross. Good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Let's
talk about those adjectives. Critical time, generous donation. How accurate is that?
It's a critical time for the Red Cross. We're actually in a very busy fire season. We're not a government agency, so we rely on the community support. When economy is down, such as it is now, so are donations. And so this generous donation by the Berger Foundation definitely fills some of the gaps in our funding.
Let's talk about that need for funding right now. Do you have a sense year to year of how the Red Cross is doing in terms of donations?
I believe we're about 20% down this year, which is better than a lot of charities. But with the amount of activity going on, it's still a critical need.
And last year, Riverside County's chapter responded to no less than 300 disasters in the area too. We're talking about fires that have displaced people from their homes. What else?
Well, the fires, we do military emergency responses where family members in the military have needs. We are the coordinating agency with the military on that. We do training, for example, first aid, CPR. We do lifeguard training. We also do earthquakes, which is something of major concern for the valley.
So a lot of people don't realize how involved the Red Cross is in things that really affect everyone, not just these isolated disasters like fires, but in the circumstance we were to have the big one, how would the Red Cross respond?
Well, we'd be one of the primary agencies to come into the valley to set up shelters and find housing for people in need. Obviously the big one would displace a lot of people. Food, shelter, water becomes an issue, and the Red Cross would be there to help.
Tell me a little bit about what this donation will be used for. I'd imagine that it's probably spent just as soon as it's received.
Well, it's planned spending. Red Cross spends 91 cents out of every dollar on support to the community. So the money goes into the community. In this case, a lot of the money will go into replacing shelters and cots that we need for operating the shelters, obviously. Emergency response vehicle, being one of the largest counties in the state, we put a lot of miles on our vehicles. It also provides us with some satellite support or communication support equipment. As you know, in an earthquake or a major disaster, we tend to have communication problems. The cell phones go down, telephones go down, and radios with emergency services become very busy. So the donation goes to some very major operational needs of the Red Cross.
I'm also reading about 3 computers for tracking client services information.
Yes.
How is that used?
Well, when clients, for example, that are displaced from a residential fire, we have to keep track of where they're at. We provide them with some money to buy food and clothes, needs for the children, medication, cleaning materials, but we need to keep track of how we spend the money, that is being used appropriately, that is being used for the best interest of the people who need it.
Well, a big thank you tonight, I'm sure, from the Red Cross for the H.N. and Francis C. Berger Foundation on behalf of the Riverside County chapter of the Red Cross. And we also do want to mention that the Berger Foundation is a sponsor of our Charity Spotlight. Thanks so much for being our newsmaker tonight.
Thank you.